the people podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we, and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP. Positive thinking people, positive thinking people, positive thinking people. Every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every Friday night, every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every Friday night, every Monday night, every Wednesday night. Positive thinking people, PTP, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. Guess what? It's Sir Rod. Here I am, another day. You know how I get excited to come out and do this. It's all about me making the door open for you to get information, for us to be able to work with one another and just, make things come together. So I get excited. Y'all know how I do. I be trying to move things around and make little things happen. So y'all bear with me as I be looking away from you. No disrespect. I just love what I do and get it done. How about that? And I got an amazing guest in here today. An amazing guest, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to be so impressed with the conversation today. It's all about networking. It's all about networking. It's all about us trying to move forward to do things together. So, without further ado, let me introduce my guest, Mr. Basile.
Yes.
Basile Lemba.
That's correct.
How you doing, sir? My pleasure. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you into the studio today.
Okay.
So how's your day going so far?
Well, it's starting now.
Oh, it is?
Now that I'm here.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing. So yeah, I'm so excited. Actually, we talking about networking and stuff. That's how I met you.
That's right.
At a networking event.
That's correct.
And we had some conversation about that. And what I thought was so empowering was, I just heard some of your conversation when we was in the midst of all the other people. When you said that you help people learn how to network. And that's very, very important. So can you tell us a little bit, first of all, can you just kind of tell a little bit about yourself? And
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Africa. I left when I was 14. I went to France, lived there for 10 years, moved to the US after that, and started in Florida. And then I moved up to Virginia where I started a business. And I didn't know anybody, so I ran head on into the subject of networking. And from there, I tried to do something about it, and now I've created the Networking Institute.
oh my goodness.
Yes.
So actually the Networking Institute is something that help people learn how to communicate with one another?
Yeah, and to make a long story short, I mentioned arriving in Northern Virginia. I started a business, I did not know anybody. So I'll go to networking event to meet people. And in going into that, my needs was not met, but even more importantly, I didn't know even what my needs were. But I was just feeling uncomfortable. Not happening, not happy, not satisfied, not fulfilled. And one day a lady came to me and said, "You say you want to meet people?" And I just say yes. She said, "Well, there's a luncheon over there. There will be 150 people there." I asked, "When big? 150? And then I asked her, "How much?" She said, $150. I'm like, $150? I mean, I'm starting a business. That's just too much money. Long story short, I went. And I walked in. The room was jam-packed. They introduced the keynote. He grabbed the mic. Never let go. 2 o'clock came, people are going back to work. I'm like, wait a minute. 3 minutes later, I was standing in an empty room with 3 business cards. That's when I had my first realization about networking. I realized that sometimes the event was not organized to give people the opportunity to network. So I went to people like you. I say, "Rodney, when you go to an event, what do you want to see happening?" I wrote that down. What is that you don't want? I wrote that down. So I surveyed 20 different business people. I took what they wanted and I created a breakfast event. And we have been doing it now for 19 years. And one of the things they told me, they said, I want to meet people. So you know what they call today speed dating? We started it 20 years ago. Well, I have business people facing one another. One would tell the story for 1 minute, and then they'd want to tell for 1 minute, and then I moved up to the next chair. So that was the most popular part. And one day, one lady told the other one, I'm in renovation, I do bath and kitchen, and she explained what she did. So I hit Dugan, was the turn of the other one to speak, and the other one simply said, oh, I did my kitchen 3 months ago. And never said anything else the remaining 57 seconds. That's when I realized, oh my God, they don't know how to network. I thought everybody knew. Networking event all over the place. You go to a bookstore, you see books on networking. You go to a library, you see books on networking. It was such a strange concept to me. So at that time, then I didn't want somebody to come to my event and be upset. So as part of the breakfast event, I created a section of teaching people how to network. Okay? And still, I remember, I was wondering if it's true or not, because it was just, for some reason, I take it for granted, most of us do, that everybody knows how to network. So I called some business people and asked them, do you drive a car? They say yes. How do you learn how to drive? They say, oh, for one, I went to driving school. Number two, somebody taught me. Number three, all of the above. Very good. And the next question was, do you network or attempt to network? The answer was, oh, of course, network. What kind of question is that? How do you learn how to network? The answer was, number one, I just walked into the room. Number two, somebody pushed me into the room. That was the totality of people training when it comes to networking. Now, we wouldn't take the car keys, hand them to a 16 years old and say, go ahead and drive. But that is the deal 99.9% of the people on this planet got when it comes to networking.
Right.
You understand? We say she's an introvert, she's a natural, he was born that way. Actually, that is a confession that we don't have a know-how. Nobody say Rodney is a natural driver. We don't say that. We take Rodney, we get him to a driving school, he comes out on the other side, he can drive.
Right.
We assume because you can speak or because you can move your lips, you can network.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's not because I can do this with my foot that I can drive a car.
Right. That's amazing just how you broke that down. A lot of us assume that you understand about networking, but yet it's actually a skill and an art to it that you develop and you learn how to do.
Yeah. But the problem of this was, and allow me to go deeper, because when we say now from the Institute, we say better networking through research, because we research the subject. Now we have the cardinal rules, we have the correct definition. Oh, by the way, the definition of networking in the dictionary is incorrect. Okay? So if the culture does not have the correct definition, they couldn't possibly have the know-how. That's how the subject was brushed off. Ask anyone, what is the purpose of networking? You're going to get 100 response, different one for another. What is that subject that everybody is like driving a car? If everybody has their own way to drive a car, there will be a lot more accident in the driveway, on a highway, I would say. But that's what happened in networking. But we don't even know what is an accident, what is not. Anything goes.
It is important for many of us, and even myself, as I've moved into this area with the podcast, I realize how important it is for us to understand networking and how to communicate, how to walk into a room and walk up. Many years ago, doing production, I found myself struggling with that, not knowing how to approach people. And it's important for us to succeed to know how to network. Network leads you into the marketing aspect of things, because people will share with you their information, and then by information you start to be able to share your business or your ventures or what your journey is. And how you do that? Through networking. How did I meet you? Through networking.
Sure.
And after we talked a little bit, and I realized you starting your institution for networking, I realized that this is something that you can't just say, I know how to do. because I struggle in some of those areas.
Well, you know, most people say, or they feel or say, I'm challenged with networking, I don't know how to network. Truly, it's not their fault. They have never been taught how to network.
So, what would be what's some of the steps that a person do coming into the institution of networking with you?
But before I get there, I have to tell you, I would like to tell you why. When I did this research and discovery, we made networking, like I'll say that we turn it into a science. By science, I mean we can now take anyone, repeat anyone, and teach them how to network with anyone, anywhere. Okay? Much like when you get to an airport, let's say you want to rent a car, you go to Hertzbus or any for that matter. You say, well, I want a Lexus. They say, sorry, Rodney, we don't have a Lexus. They say, okay, give me a Toyota. They say, well, sorry, sir, Rodney, we don't have a Toyota. Now I start getting upset. You say, what do you have? They say, I have a Ford. Okay, give me the key. They give you the keys. Off you go. The point? It doesn't matter what car it is. You know how to drive.
Right. So the purpose of the initial point is to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't matter. Even if it rains, snow, whatever, because you know you get there.
Yeah.
What we don't have, we never had until the Institute. That's what the Institute was created. How is that you can network with anybody or meet somebody, deal with them, and take the matter to whatever you want? It can be closing it, it can be having them as a speaker, it can be whatever. Do 1, 2, 3. How do we drive a car? 3 steps. Ignition key, gear shifting, pedal to the meter. That's what we do, all of us, each and every time. It doesn't matter you pink, yellow, black, pink, whatever. It doesn't matter left-handed, right-handed. Doesn't matter introvert, extrovert. All of us. 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Ignition key, gear shifting, pedal to the meter. In that order, each and every time. There's no creating it around it. You can't be, start to open the trunk, it won't work. There's a 1, 2, 3. The research over the last 20 years, 20 plus years in the Institute was, what is the 1, 2, 3 in getting client?
Okay.
Okay. So you don't have to think. It's a 1, 2, 3. And the 1, 2, 3 I'll give them to you is 1, networking, 2, promotion, and 3, sales. 1, networking, 2, promotion, and 3, sales, in that order. We at the Institute, we don't just teach networking because we deal with business people like you. Business people, as they say, until something is sold, nothing is about to happen. So our training covered it all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, allow me to explain the 1, 2, 3. Let's start with sales. At the Chamber of Commerce event, a networking event, people ask, who's here to sell something? All the hands went up. Who's here to buy something? All the hands went down. Okay, mind you, it was a networking event.
Right.
But what was the mindset? Sell.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Right.
So here it is, they're supposed to be networking, but they're selling. Okay, that's sales. Now let's talk about promotion. If you have been in business more than 24 hours, you must have heard the phrase, the elevator speech. Where we met that the first time, everybody has to do the elevator speech.
Right.
All right?
Right.
Okay, now if we get the elevator speech and check it against the 3.1, 2, 3, we see the elevator speech comes under promotion. Since I'm telling you what I do, what my company does, or whatever, that is promotion. You understand? So what goes for networking on the entire planet have been as sales, covertly, overtly, or promotion. We never graduated to networking. Are you tracking?
Yes.
The purpose of networking is to create acceptance. It's not to promote yourself or to sell. It is to create acceptance. Having created acceptance, now the person is then willing and ready to listen to what you do. Are you tracking me?
Yes.
If they are interested, they buy. You don't even need to push them into buying. If they are interested, they see they buy. But more importantly, because they're the statistics, out of 10 people that you meet, only one buy your product.
Right.
So the science of networking is how do you handle the 9? It's not the one. The one's in the back. There's nothing there. How do you handle the 9? You create acceptance so that even if it does not buy, 9 is ready and willing to take you to his tribe.
Yes.
That's how the game is played.
Yes. I get it when you say, now, and I never really thought about that. So when you walk into a room, you walk in with the intent to say, I want everybody to know about me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going there that you jump out and just market yourself per se. You go in there, shake hands, introduce yourself,
Mm-hmm.
so that people accept you.
Mm-hmm.
They accept the possibility of having conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take and then go to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Yeah, let me give you a good example of it. In 2008, the market crashed. We know that. Finance collapsed completely. I walked into a networking event and I met this guy. He's a financial planner. So I wanted to know. I was interested in learning what's going on. I have no idea. I was not fun. So I'm asking him a question to understand, to learn. I'm interested, learning from him, listening. And I asked him a question that night. He never answered the question, that question. And so and he told me, what do you do? I was like, wait a minute, I don't understand. I asked you a question, you asked me a question. How does that work? What is it? And then I left that evening. I was puzzled by what happened. It took me a good 2 years to grasp the whole thing. But what happened with that guy? He asked me what I do. I told him. He sold my product to 20 different business people. Sold, by that I mean I'll walk into the office of those people, they say, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I didn't sell it. I'll joke them, they say, I want this, I want this, I want this. He sold it. Well, in that story, you have this whole story of networking. Show interest to the person. That person, by the way, never bought my product himself, but he took me to his people and sold the product. That's how you network. Understand?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the 2 cardinal rules of networking. We just talk about it, the prime rule of networking, which, by the way, comes from research, which happen to be the prime rules of reality. I won't go there tonight, but it'll be a subject for another time. 1, be interested. Okay, these are the cardinal rules of which the science of networking is made. 1, be interested. 2, always put your personal interest last. 1, be interested. 2, put your personal interest last. What does that mean? How do you apply it? When you walk into a networking event, your intention is to be interested in those people and see how you can help them. That's all.
I get you. So technically, you don't go in there pushing your product. If you go in there showing interest in theirs.
When you walk in there, I'm here, who can I help? What can I do for you, sir? That is the game.
My man. A lot of times, even if I can be honest, I'll walk in and say, hey, my name is Rodney Grimes, I'm with People to People, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm talking about, and boom, boom, boom. But yet, I didn't go in there and say, hey, my name is Rodney Grimes, what is it that you do?
There you go.
Open up the room for the conversation, not to impose, but to be accepted, to be able to share.
You create the acceptance by being interested in them.
Come on, man.
Yes, ma'am.
And listen, I part of the reason we have individuals to come on to the People podcast is for us to gain knowledge and wisdom. Mr. Basile, I'm just excited, just in this little bit of conversation, what I just learned, how powerful it is, and for us to get to a point where we want to figure out how do we become successful people in business and communicating, and all the things that we like to do to involve other people, and just realizing that a lot of times we all go into the room with the wrong intent.
Well, yeah, but because of this, you have never been taught.
Yeah.
The science of networking never existed before. You can't be blamed if nobody will teach you something. If you didn't teach you how to drive a car and then somebody blame you, Rodney doesn't know how to drive a car. No. Nobody ever told him how to drive the car. What do you expect from him?
Right. Yeah.
Nobody has even been taught how to network on this planet. Nobody. Then
So-
they
so-
started teaching people. Now, this is not to mean that there is no networking. Yes, it does take place, but not clearly in the manner it should be. Because that we do the work or not, people will be networking, coming together. But one of the best way to explain that, say, I remember when I was in the high school where you have an orchestra of kids. They'll hear a song and approximate the sound. They'll try to play it. And when they have a concert at night, the biggest fear was to play the wrong note.
Right.
And then tomatoes are coming. What we do in the institute, we come and teach them the notes. Now they know the note, they play the note, not what the approximation.
Right.
They know what they're doing. They don't even worry about the crowd anymore. They know their music.
Right.
You take a guitar, blam, 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 and everybody blown out of the mind, you go home. You do not worry about it. Because now we give them certainty.
Yes.
Until you learn this material, you will not have certainty. It's a hit and miss proposition.
Yes.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
It becomes kismet, fate, Allah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We take that out. We teach you the 1, 2, 3. Our materials works 100% of the time. That's what I'm talking about, research and discovery. If I didn't want something that was 99.99, no, I'm not interested. Because you come to my class, I teach you. You go back out, fail. I'm responsible. Everything we teach in our materials works 100% of the time. If we ever send somebody to do an exercise or to do something, when they come back, if they say it doesn't work, all we ask them is, what did you do? Once they tell us in detail what they do, we'll see that they did not do what we told them you asked them to do.
Right. How do people get in touch with the institution?
We are at blnetworking.net, or they can just reach out to me by Lemba@yahoo.com, or just in fact, we're starting a course tomorrow, but that's understood. Or my number 571-263-4190.
Say the number one more time.
571-263-4190.
So for individuals out there who will get that number, you want to give Mr. Basile the opportunity to share with you some of the information that will help you move forward in your skills to better enhance your communication skills in networking events. And so now, see where I'm finding this is so important, because you're the second individual that I spoke to about networking. Another young lady who was at the event, we both had the opportunity to meet. But when I spoke to you and you told me that this is what you train people to do, you train them and give them the tools for them to be able to go. Now, so this is me, this is a confession. I need that skill. I struggle in certain areas. It's okay for you to like to do something and want to do something, but sometimes you have to get the certain tools to be able to move forward. Some of those things I found that I've been lacking. So hearing you speak about the networking, I really know how important that is. From me being in the business and doing different events and doing production and things like that, I wondered sometimes why it didn't go over the way that I wanted it to, because of my networking skills weren't clear.
Well, it comes down to this: you have never been told how. If you look at the statistics in this country, which is one of probably the most prosperous country or the most active when it comes to business, only 6% of the business make a 6 figures year in, year out.
And what causes that?
Let me tell you another statistic. Whereas the SBA used to report 2 out of 10 business were making it to 10, now they say 1 out of 10. The plumber know how to do some plumbing. The baker can know how to make the cake. The lawyer can draft the contract. The challenge is how to get the ideal customer to pay them for their service. There is lack of networking skills.
Yeah.
I always say that in my course. I tell anybody in my course of training, you are what, a photographer. Okay, if I get you somebody, can you take a picture of it? Yes. So your challenge is not taking the picture, your challenge is getting ideal customers. And that is traced to networking skills.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, it's not even just small businesses, all companies, because we work with the like of Microsoft. Similarly, I used to go here in Tazos Corner, not far from here. They say event, they invited business people. I worked in food and drinks and everything else. There are only 3 people in the room. It helped him to store all that food. They only succeed in getting 3 people. We did help them several ways. Brought them to an event, 150 business people. The manager of the store was like, if she died, wound up in heaven. All businesses, their challenge is getting new customers, their ideal customer, and that's traced directly to networking skills. And that's what we teach. 5 steps. 1, the correct mindset. 2, defining your ideal client. 3, how to talk to the client. 4, how to follow up. And 5, how to close.
Okay. How long does what is the course like in the institution?
Well, the way we lay it out is different, 3 different levels. The first one is what we call a signature course called Networking for Profit, where we take every one of those elements, we cover them in 1 hour. Now, having done that, when somebody say, oh yeah, I'm interested, we have a 6-month program. Okay. And then also we have a 1-year program, which of course we add other elements. So there's a whole-day conference on follow-up, a whole-day conference on closing, a whole-day conference on getting leads. And I'll go out with them in the high level to work with them network. There's no technology. I happen to be an architect. I may or may not have mentioned that. But architect in the past was made through apprenticeship. They was not go to some school over there and then become an architect. No, they was coming on the study. The great painters, the great of the greats and everything was under apprenticeship. That's what we do at the highest level. I'll go out with them, we get them to do it, I'll watch and observe, and then we come and discuss. Like training on the job. It's not just there's information, go over there, but it's really that, but it's a different level, and we teach them, even with the basic information, it makes a total difference. It's just that they have never been told. Let me take another subject. The reason networking as a subject was not developed, and I need to say it, is this. Man trains thoroughly only when he sees danger as imminent. It bears repeating. Man trains thoroughly only when he sees danger as imminent. Otherwise, they just play around. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, my uncle was training to become a pilot. Of course, we want to tell the neighbor, yeah, you see the flight over there, that's our uncle. We say, well, take the 747 by yourself. And he said, no, it doesn't work that way. I got to spend hours and hours and hours in studying. And then I got to spend hours and hours and hours with the instructor. And then if I do well, maybe I can become a co-pilot. And then maybe one day I become a pilot. And we're not interested. But man, look at that guy taking 400 lives up there. He makes sure that that boy is thoroughly trained before he goes up there. Civil engineer, they are trained to the limit so that they don't build a bridge and people come over their cars and fall down. Even driving a car, you are 16 years old, you want to get into the car, somebody's going to slide between you and the car. He's called a police officer. He's going to ask you, Rodney, do you have your driver license? You say no. If you say no, he say beat it. He doesn't want to get in there because somebody may die. Are you tracking with it? But when it comes to networking, you and I can meet because nobody dies at the end of that. So man did not think that he should develop a technology. Whatever happened, no biggie. That's why nobody ever developed a networking science. But for where I was coming from, knowing nobody, it was clear. I understand it. I knew what it is to stand up and not know anybody in the room. I know how it feels. I know what I want the host to do. I know what I would like to say. So I can feel it deeply. So I could then walk it out. So nobody else is in the same situation I am. That's the reason I was able to do it. We don't realize it, but when you grow up, you know people here and there and there. You grow up, your brother and sister and everybody else. Even if you start a business, you can pick up full kind of calls and say, cousin, hey, make me going or get me started. But where I was standing, knowing nobody, I was really standing by myself. Of course, but at the same time, a blessing in that I could understand what I mean and be willing to do something about it, because I did not want anybody else to be in those shoes or to experience that.
Ladies and gentlemen, for everyone that's just tuning in, this is People to People with Rodney Grimes. My guest is the amazing Mr. Basile Lemba. He is a networking, I'm going to call him a networking guru that has the Networking Institute. It's about networking, and for individuals who want to understand how to make your business move in the right direction and get more information on how to be successful. What I've just learned in this short period, it's about networking, getting in and learning how to do it, and it's a skill to it. And I want to do just before, so you hold your thought. I don't want you to lose this. I want to take this opportunity to do a shout out to all the people who sponsor Hands in Motion 2. I want to say these are sponsors for us. We talking Beth Creation. Beth does the baskets for holidays and things of that nature. So you definitely want to get in contact with Beth Creation. And these individuals that I'm calling out their names of the companies, you can get in touch with them through Facebook, through YouTube, and if you write down the names, you can Google them and have the opportunity to be able to get information. So remember, I first said Hand in Motion 2. That's a hair salon barbershop that's out in Old Town Alexandria. We have Beth Creation, where she do gift baskets. We have The Good Fight, which is another podcast that's out supporting individuals. And I'm not going to be able to shout out for everybody, but I just want to run through quite a few of them. We have Man in the Mirror. Remember, we got Man in the Mirror just coming on every last Thursday of the month. And this is a part of processing of networking, what I'm doing right now. I'm networking. And I'm going to go back and ask you about that. We got Stats DC, which they do supporting of the foods and things in the different communities. We have RTF, which is Ratcliffe Thomas Jr., his program that's out there for the youth in the sports in Old Town Alexandria. We have Cunningham Security, that's an individual whom he does personal body guard protection for celebrities and individuals on different levels. We have Black in the City clothing line. We have Black Author Expos for Black authors out of the Old Town Alexandria DMV area. We also have Good Men is a clothing line, gentleman who we have some product that we're going to be sharing. We got the Queen Rachel Pope, the Queen who's always blessing us with a lot of good information. We can't forget about the Metro Home, which is a realtor company of the DMV. Let me see. And we got to mention the X39 patch. That's one of the sponsors been with us for a while. Miss Kimberly Harkey, who is one of the lead individuals in this area, who gives us some information about that. Intelligence Office, where we here, if you're looking for a location to be able to have a business address and do events and things of that nature, 1934 Old Gallows Road here in the Tyson Corner area. Also, Redeem of the Lord, which is Prophet Katrina, who she is doing several different things. So I wanted to take this time. If I didn't do the shout out to you, please do not forget that we out here supporting the network. And one of my very, very, very good friends, Mr. Mark Durrett, Jersey and Things, clothing line. Let me tell you, please, please, please understand it's about networking. And that's why I am so thankful that I have the gentleman, Mr. Basile, on with us today, because already you just gave me some powerful knowledge. Now, is it, when you say you got a course where you can get it for 1 hour, right? And then you can get it for 6 months?
Yeah, 5 hours, the first course.
Oh, 5 hours?
5 hours, we cover each and every pillar that I mentioned.
Okay.
And then you can deepen it over a period of 6 months. And then we have, that's the 6 month program, and also a 1 year program where we keep adding. Ultimately, at its highest level, networking is a lifestyle. It's not just passing cards anymore, it's a lifestyle. And allow me to explain. When I first put together the first manuscript of the book, I asked myself, how do I know that this works? Because anybody today can write their own theory. So I round up 20 to 30 business people, and I covered the materials with them. And then I asked them for their feedback. And they was writing, this is life changing, this is changing my life. And I'm reading them, I said, wait a minute, I'm not trying to change your life, I'm trying to teach you how to get business. But then I realized that the materials I was putting in front of them were natural laws. Though I was looking through the lenses of business, they apply to all of life. You know, in the materials I have a quote, and that is this: the quality of your life is proportionate to the quality of your networking. The quality of your life is proportionate to the quality of networking. You can also say the quality of your life is proportionate to the quality of your relationships. And I tell people, prove me wrong. If you have the networking skill part down, the stress goes down in your life. Happiness and production goes up.
Say that again.
If you master networking, the stress, tension, and everything else in your life go down. Production and happiness goes up. If you master the materials I'm teaching, or if you learn, if only a little bit about it.
Is it ever a point that you become a certain level where you don't have to learn anything else about networking anymore?
No, absolutely no, you don't stop. If nothing else, reviewing the materials over and over is helpful.
Okay.
And learning here and there. No, in life you never stop.
Okay.
But at one point in your mind, it clicks. You get what I'm saying? You're not just, it becomes second nature. Much like driving. When you're driving a car, let's say you want to go to Maryland, you don't worry about it. You just want to get into the car. You worry where are you going and when do you get there? You're not worried about the actions. You know that they become second nature to you. Same thing.
We have a comment.
Yes, Mark Direct says, absolutely show interest in their products, or they will show interest in your business. Yes, sir, networking is key, can lead to plenty of opportunities. It landed my clothing line into a movie on video, Jersey and Things Clothing LLC.
Okay, through networking.
I mean, it's, if you understand this principle and you can apply it, you can have a different life. It is day and night, 180 days. Our job is to get the materials out because we see what it does. We see how it changes people's lives.
So I'm sitting here like I'm absorbing what you had. I wish I had my pad over here because I would have wrote down some of the notes, but I'm keeping it tattooed in my brain. So networking also, a lot of times, it's not so much that you have to do it with a big group of people. You do it individually.
It is. It's not. It's, as I say, it is a lifestyle. It's how I interact with you, how I interact with her, how do I interact with people.
Yes.
Once you understand it, it's just part of you.
Come on now. You teaching me. You teaching me. I'm sitting here and I'm learning.
You don't even do anymore. You are at that point.
Right.
It's highest level. It's not about of doing. You are.
Yes. And I just sitting here, I can only imagine what it's like going through your institute. This short time and just the information you gave me has already inspired me, and I was wondering why I was struggling in certain areas, and it's because I didn't have the proper steps in networking.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that just in this short period of time of talking with you, and one of the things that I'm trying to achieve is this process of success. And it's not going to be because everybody like me. It's not going to be because everybody want to see me succeed. It's going to be through my networking skills that's going to elevate me.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really took that real serious until just now.
When nobody ever told you, never knew a subject exists. One of my conference 5 or 6 years back, beautiful, nice afternoon, was in the hotel. And I was going over the 3-point networking, promotion, and sales. Somebody screamed loud, "Oh my God!" He startled the whole room. Everybody answered, "What?" Even myself, I'm like, why? My God. The guy stood up. He said, "I'm with the government. We buy sales program. We buy promotion program. We never bought any networking program. The customer number 1 in the world, the United States government, never bought a single networking program. Do you want to know why?
Right.
Because the subject never existed. There was nothing to say. I realized that what is out there, quote unquote, called networking, was at best successful actions or opinion. Whether the successful action may work for you, Rodney, it won't work for Bill or Joe. Or opinion. It was never a sign. There was nothing to sell to anybody. There was no subject there. Let me do the thing. I went years back, in 2018, when I finished the research, totally incomplete. And I was discussing with somebody and said, "Well, we should have a networking institute." And I said, "Networking institute?" I said, "No. I'm sure the name is taken." And I went online, found that the name is available. I shocked the hell out of me. So that means what? Nobody ever codified the subject. Try to find Sales Institute. It was gone probably 4,000 before Christ.
Right.
But the Networking Institute available meant nobody ever said, "This is it.
Yeah.
This is the subject."
Yeah.
That's why that's how it spoke to me. And I took the name, so now I have it.
And the other thing that I'm saying and I'm getting out of this is that a lot of us who are doing business, as some of the names that I called off the flyer and we're promoting, networking is important, and it's imperative that we do this, and we got to get to a point where we understand in order for us to grow, we got to network together. Networking together will build us. This platform here, people to people, I'm gonna grab something. Y'all just I wanted to grab this. So I'm gonna grab this real quick.
Sure.
And wait a minute, just a second. So we're talking about networking. And when I say that, and I realize something, how important networking is when you are sharing information. Now again, we're talking about, and this is maybe what I just got out of just listening to Mr. Lemba. When you network, you have to show interest in other people's product. Showing people that you're interested in their product puts you in a position where in return they'll take interest in yours.
That's how it works.
Is that correct?
Exactly.
And many of us who struggle in the process of moving forward is because selfishly we have this thought that the idea, and I'm not trying to point my finger at anybody, I'm talking to Rodney Grimes right now, that I thought by me just saying, hey, I have a podcast and yo, this is available for you and this is what I'm trying to do. I was expecting everybody to come running. But they don't do that. Because I gotta reach out to them. I gotta go out and I gotta show interest also in their product.
Or in themselves as individuals. If I was you, if I may, I would not say, let's say, so what do you do? Okay, you tell me what you do. Why do you do it? How do you get into it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know. You tell me, give me information, Your podcast may or may not be for everybody.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
We call it, you want to shoot when the target is in view.
Shoot when the target is in view.
Yeah. I talk to you, what do you do? Why do you do it? I know what my podcast does. And if I see feeling, I see there's a feeling, I say, you know what? I have a podcast that can help you. Do you understand? I take up the podcast when I see that it can be for you.
Yes.
You understand? That's what we call by shoot when the target is in view.
Yes. Come on now, teach me.
Mm-hmm. You understand? You have a much easier time of it.
Yeah.
Because they ask them the question, they tell you, you're being interested in what they are. It can be what they do or even who they are. You know, because somebody may have a job, but it's something that they life. They do other things that may be very interesting. You just get that, and then you podcast is the thing that could help them achieve their goal.
Yes.
Not just the postcard for the podcast, but the postcard when you see it feeling, hey, you know what, this thing over here could help you.
Come on.
Just do what you want to do.
Yes. And this is another process why they say sometimes they saying education, knowledge, education is knowledge. They say knowledge is wealth. When you learn things, it takes you to a different perspective.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That we talk networking, and in the highest level of program, which I mentioned to you, we take people to a whole new level where they have never been. One of the somebody that I had, interestingly, I had somebody in my program, the 12-month program. Shortly after 2 to 3 months, she tripled her revenue, her production. So at the end of the year, I do a review. So I'm sitting there to do a review. I'm so all excited because I expect her to give me these numbers, and I'm all jacked up out of mind. I'm looking for the review. And at one point, she looked at me and she said, "You know what I got out of it, Coach?" I said, "No." She said, "I found myself." She told my whole life, I've been doing what people tell me to do. From now on, I'm going to do my own thing. And she went and opened her own spa in Florida.
So a lot of times when we do different things in businesses and so forth, is it expensive to get into the Network Institute?
It's not. And we work our payment plan in addition. As I say, 5712. What happened, this is the way you interact with the Institute. When you contact us, we send you a complimentary assessment because people are different. So you fill out the assessment and we have an interview with you and see if and how we can help you. And from there, we lay out a program that fits you, a customized program for you.
Okay.
That's how we operate.
So say if it's an individual who's just starting a business, okay, and they're struggling financially, they come to you. Is there a process that they won't feel like they're being turned away? Or
no, we don't turn them away because we can do a seminar for them. But we also work with corporate, which is more and more really corporate, going to corporate and teaching them. But again, we have that conversation. Who you are, where are you going, what is it interested in, what is that could be done. We already have something.
Yes.
We can do a seminar, we can do something, we can do a payment plan for you. But this knowledge, 28 years of research into this. And as I say, we say already, it was a neglected subject, but that's what's holding people down.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to interact with a fellow man, you can't sell him.
Right. Now, and I get you. One of the things that I'm talking, and reason why I asked that, we have different individuals who might be starting businesses and things of that nature. If you don't know some individuals, it's like, hey, okay, I'm just starting a clothing line, or I'm trying to start a hair salon business or a cooking business. And they don't have the finances, but they have the skills. Okay. So coming to the Network Institute will be one of the steps to get started. correct?
It is.
Okay.
But we always take it to the individual level. We want to have that conversation. I don't give a blanket blah, because you start with what are your skills or where you are. I like tailor-made service. I didn't tell you that, but I did teach French here in the US because I happen to speak French at Northern Virginia Community College. I taught French and I was giving private lessons. When you're teaching to a group, you teach in the middle. You understand? Let me explain. You, in each and every class, you have the guy who speaks some French, advanced. You have the guy who's medium, and you have the guy who's lower. As a professor, as a teacher, I have to teach in the middle. I don't want to go just focus on the level of the highest. I can't focus on the lowest, and you teach in the middle. Well, I love the tailor-made program because it allows me to tailor it to that person, and they get much more out of it. You understand? As opposed to talking to in a class to something that the guy who's higher know already, or the guy at the bottom does not grasp. You come out of there feeling simple. The way I solved that problem when I was teaching, which I was giving them homework each and every time. They'll write essays. That'll give me the opportunity to give them individual attention. That's how I solved that problem. So by the end, each one from wherever they were, they wound up at a higher level. I was not required to do that. It's something that I took on myself. I didn't have to do work out of the class. But that's how I get around it. So, but our principle, we try to see who you are, where you are, and then we see what can be done with you.
You got a question for me, Lady Z?
Well, it's not a question, it's a comment.
Comment.
Rachel Pope says, I networked in the art community and they needed volunteers, and I got myself in the door and created relationship, and they taught me about their grant programs. I applied and got the grant so I can help the community with my art. Relationship lasted many years. They introduced me to other art organizations to help spread what I had to offer in their town. Amazing way to build by working together in unity.
Thank you, Queen Rachel. Thank you. Again, this is really powerful. Really powerful. I'm taking this a lot more serious than I anticipated. Prior to my conversation with the other young lady and having it with you, this is my second opportunity to sit with you. Now I feel a lot more personal and more comfortable, and I'm interested and I know that what you have could benefit even the podcast itself with the knowledge that you share with us. And that's what I'm excited about. What I'm looking for in the DMV is for us to change our way of communicating, and that we have to build these networking platforms. And in order to build them, we have to learn how to network. You have to learn how to approach people. You have to learn what is the 1, 2, 3 steps. You know, after listening to you. And you said that, I realized it's not just me going in there and just shaking somebody's hand or just standing in a room over in the corner. You know, it's a process, and you have to learn how to do that. And so for individuals who are just joining in, Mr. Lemba is that he has the Networking Institute that focus on teaching you how to properly network, which, as you said, when you get that in control and you're able to manage that, the pressure and all of that goes down and everything else start to rise up. You find yourself where you start to see progress. And I'm excited because just with the little bit of conversation that I got from you is already changing my sense of direction. You said something about that lady. You said that lady said she found herself. Guess what? I also found something within me, within this conversation. I want to encourage anyone out there that, first of all, I want you to repeat the number. What's the phone number again?
571-263-4190. You can also text me. 571-263-4190.
Give this gentleman a call. Find out what's going on with the Networking Institute. See what it can do to benefit you. You want to succeed, you have to put the work in. You got to do that. You got to put yourself in a position where you are really moving in a direction to make things beneficiary to you. And it's not sometimes what you know, but it's who you know.
Also, the point I want to mention, we all walk. You do walk. It's about walking smarter, having the right way. All the entrepreneurs walk, but it's like in anything. You can get into a car and start pushing the pedal. You ain't gonna go anywhere. You gotta know the 1, 2, 3. Then you move the car forward. And we touch up a little bit on coaching. I attended an event once. There was 100 people on the call, and you have to explain what you do in maybe 15, 20 seconds. The event was over. My phone rang. I picked up the phone, and the lady on the other line said, "Oh, a lot of coaches try to get people from 1 to 5, but you get them to 1." It's the fundamentals of the fundamentals that we teach. It's like, I mentioned that I was an architect. One of the things that they teach you in architectural school is this one. They teach you, if you ever build a house, make sure the foundations are done right. Same thing in business. If you don't have those fundamentals, and I've seen big names, not knowing these materials, killing themselves or just getting themselves in trouble, because these basics are not in place. If the foundations are not in place, whatever house you build, it's might come down one day, whatever, this, that, the other thing. So that's really those fundamentals, which I think to some point I think everybody knows. Everybody knows how to network. When then later they catch up with people, or they hold them back, or they don't get the full potential or all the growth they can achieve.
That is amazing. All this information is real powerful. How much time we have left, Lady Z? When I look at it, okay. Before, because you get the final word, before I move on, I do need to also say that the Adore You Salon has a grand opening coming up on April, I think it's April 1st. That's Miss Lisa B. If you want to get some information in reference to the Adore You Salon, the number is 371-368-0535. It's located in Indian Head, off Indian Head Highway in Fort Washington, Maryland. I just wanted to throw that shout out and tell her how proud I am about her moving in the direction with her new salon, and highly recommend that you go out there and show us some love. I want to thank Mr. Lemba for coming in and for giving us this opportunity to get this lesson about networking. You are more than welcome to come back anytime. Please know that we will be reaching out to you to ask you to come back and be a guest to talk some more about it. But what I would like to do is probably have a couple of more people to sit in, so they'll be able to address you on different areas, because I can tell that you got a lot of good knowledge to share with us. And I appreciate you just taking the time out to come up to the People to People podcast and give us this knowledge from the Networking Institute. So you have the final word. If you could talk to the guests and tell them what would you like to share with them, and give them their contact. Make sure you give them that contact information.
Yeah, sure. The contact information 571-263-4190. I'll say this: there is two things. We talked about different things. There's two things that I would like to leave you with that you can apply starting this very second. 1, be interested. 2, always put the personal interest last. If you did those two things, it will smooth out all your relationships. I repeat, all your relationships. 1, be interested. And 2, always put your personal interest last. That opens the door to intimate relationships.
As y'all know, it's just amazing. I appreciate everybody that just joined in. I'm telling you, I'm excited about what's going on. this is what we do. This is what we do. We network. We try to support people on our areas, and I'm just excited. I thank you, sir, for coming in, and it was an amazing conversation with you, an interview, and I'm excited to do this once again. And don't y'all forget, Adore You Salon. They have their grand opening April 1st. I'll have some more information for you just before the next program. Go to my page and you can see it on there. So the institute is located here.
Yeah, right there in Fairfax.
Okay. All right. So for some of the individuals, it's some way accessible.
Yeah, we open our program, most of our program online with the pandemic.
Oh, it's online.
Yeah.
Okay.
Online. But sometimes we can go to a specific location or corporation.
Okay.
But
Every Wednesday night. Every Friday night. Every Monday night.
I'm over there watching you pop your fingers.